Ever wonder what's really going on with your YouTube feed? You know, why some videos get pushed to everyone while others just vanish? Well, we're going to dive into this growing feeling that something is going seriously wrong behind the scenes at YouTube. And that leads us to this huge question, right? A question that really affects everyone, creators, advertisers, and yeah, all of us just trying to watch some videos. Is YouTube's all-powerful algorithm actually out of control? Well, if you look at the source material we're breaking down in this explainer, the answer is a big, flashing yes. And the warning is pretty stark. Something dangerous is happening inside YouTube, and most users have no idea. Oof, that's a heavy statement. Okay, so how can we even tell something's wrong? Well, the crazy thing is, this problem isn't hidden away in some secret server room. Nope, the evidence is right there in front of us. And the warning signs a lot of us have probably already seen, even if we couldn't quite put our finger on it. Just think about it for a second. I bet you've seen this stuff. A creator you love suddenly complains the latest video got demonetized for literally no reason, or their views just tank overnight. Maybe you've gotten some really weird, totally wrong videos recommended to you, or you hear about entire channels getting punished without any explanation at all. See, these aren't just random, isolated glitches. And that's the key. This isn't accidental. This chaos, it's a symptom of a much, much bigger problem. The system has gotten so automated that humans can't really control it anymore. And that brings us to the real heart of the issue, this idea of the AI eating itself. It's a wild concept, but it means the very system that's supposed to organize and recommend all this content, it's starting to tear itself apart from the inside out. Now, to really get how this is even possible, you have to wrap your head around the sheer scale we're talking about. YouTube's algorithm isn't just looking at a few videos. It's processing millions of them every single day. And it's that just mind-boggling volume, that's where the trouble really starts. I mean, to keep up with that fire hose of content, YouTube has had to hand over more and more control to its AI. It wasn't always this way. As you can see here, it started small, just scanning comments. But then it quickly escalated. Suddenly, the AI was in charge of content moderation, then making these huge monetization decisions, and then predicting what you want to watch. It even got to the point where it's implementing shadow bans, where someone's content is basically made invisible without them even being told. The human element just got smaller and smaller. So what happens next is this really dangerous feedback loop. When the AI messes up, the system starts feeding on its own bad data. It's kind of like what researchers call model collapse. An AI that's trained on its own output just gets worse and worse over time. So you end up with a system that's literally fighting against itself, just creating this vicious cycle of more errors and more chaos. And the result of an AI that's at war with itself? It isn't just a few weird recommendations in your feed. No, what we could be looking at here are the very first signs of a full-on platform-wide collapse. It all comes down to a really simple but powerful idea. When a platform's main algorithm loses its stability, the whole site becomes completely unpredictable. And that unpredictability, well, that's what kicks off a devastating chain reaction. First up, you have the creators. Think about it. If you can't predict whether the video you poured your heart into will be seen or promoted or just randomly punished, you stop trusting the system, the very system you rely on to make a living. And right after the creators comes the money. Advertisers, they absolutely hate unpredictability. If they have no idea if their ads are being shown to the right people or next to appropriate content, they're going to pull back their spending fast. And then finally, the whole thing comes down to us, the viewers. When our feeds are just a mess of irrelevant junk and our favorite creators seem to disappear, we just get frustrated. And eventually, we start looking for something else to watch. And that right there, that's the end game. When the creators, the advertisers, and the viewers all lose faith, the platform is in real danger of just collapsing under the weight of its own out-of-control complexity. Man, that is a grim picture, isn't it? It all leads to this one absolutely critical question. Can the algorithm even be saved at this point? Well, the really sobering take on all this is that the algorithm isn't just broken in a way you can just patch or fix. It's actually actively self-destructing. So the warning here is crystal clear. This is not a problem that can be kicked down the road. If YouTube doesn't step in with some kind of fundamental, major fix, and soon, that downward spiral could become totally irreversible. The collapse would be impossible to stop. And that leaves us with one last, pretty chilling question to think about. We can see all the warning signs, we kind of understand how it's all failing, but if this collapse is really on its way, is it already too late?